I'd like us to come back to the basics because the Minister of State for Petroleum, Chief Timipre Sylvia, was saying that this deregulation would help and strengthen our economy. But Nigerians are finding it difficult to understand how, because all we're hearing is that we're going to be paying increased amounts of money for petrol. So how does this really affect our economy so Nigerians have a basic understanding of it?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. And let me explain, first and foremost, the deregulation of the downstream sector started a long time ago. And what does deregulation mean? Deregulation means that the government does not control the price, does not control the mechanics of production. But what the government does is to actually to protect consumers from exploitation, one, and from standard quality, because if people come and sell poor quality products, it could be injurious to the public. We've seen that happen before, the toxic waste problem in cocoa and many other places. Now, in your opening statement, you said that what this meant and what people believe is that the price of petroleum products or PMS is going to increase. No. From the day this deregulation started, we had seen the price of petrol, which was at 145, come down all the way to 125, then to 123, I believe about 120, before going right up. So what is the main input into PMS? It is petrol, crude oil. The price of crude oil increases, so also does the price of its finished product increase. For example, if the price of cocoa in the global markets was to increase, the Nigerian exporters of cocoa get more money, and nobody controls. And when the price of cocoa comes down, their revenues also fall. So if the price of your product is dependent on the global prices, then you have to accept the good with the bad at that time.
Yesterday in the papers, they said that NNPC paid itself over ₦1 trillion in subsidy. Now, according to the papers, they were the sole importers of petroleum for about 3 years. Now, when a Nigerian hears these kind of figures, there's a bit of a distrust. I need you to help us clarify. How is it possible for an NNPC to solely import and still pay itself subsidy? How does that work? Help us understand it, please.
I doubt the veracity of that report, because it was a 3-year period. In that 3-year period, the amount of subsidy paid to the government, by the government, was far in excess of that amount. And the deregulation only started in 2020. So if you are taking a 3-year period, I do not know who is subsidizing who, and I have doubts about that.
Now, when you do not have an alternative, everybody still needs to get that petrol or fuel at the high cost. Considering the fact that they are not even earning as much, a lot of people have lost their job. It seems like the government is insensitive. In your view, how do you think the government would have brought this about? Because even if we suspend it today, we're still going to get back there if we want to get better. But how do you think government would have made it easier for people to cushion the effects by, do you think they should have provided an alternative before? Palliative. An alternative so that you have a choice before bringing this, or you think we should just suffer it once and for all?
First and foremost, the money cannot just be taken and stranded. The money has to be deployed. What happened in 2012 was that the money was put into Shopee. Shopee kept the money, isolated it there, and didn't use it. And when eventually it was used, we did not see the impact. Now, today, I think there should be a simultaneous spending and investment of that money in sectors where there's an impact, where there's job elasticity, where people can feel it. And I personally believe that if you were to use the proceeds of that to give scholarships to everybody, all Nigerians who have children in secondary schools or secondary schools for that matter, and say, look, all Nigerians, the money from this 1 trillion or what have you, the money that we would have used subsidizing consumption, we are going to use that subsidizing people's education and welfare, healthcare, right? Transportation projects, so that people can feel it. So I have no doubt in my mind that this is what should be done. And I believe that also the government has that in mind. But also the government, there's a time lag between when policies are made and when impact is felt.
Right.